Welcome, my name is Debbie and this is Pouring My Art Out for the Lord, and this is part 4 of our All Things Roses file folder folio, and we're working on this folio. I will link in the description below parts 1, 2, and 3, and also I'm not sure how many cards I can do up here, but I'll link 1 or 2 cards up there that you can click on to see the rest of the folio. This is what we have so far. So it opens like that, it opens like that. We have a flap there with some pockets. A journal will live in the middle here. We've got some file folder pockets there. We made this belly band last time with this cute little flip thing on it. And that also has a secret little pocket back here. So we can put something in that secret little pocket back there. And then we had started making this part. So I'm just going to continue with this part. In a couple of minutes, we'll make a couple of pieces here, and then I'm going to tell you about how to get all these pages for free. There's 52 pages of freebies available for this kit, plus the ephemera kit is on sale with all the coordinating bits and pieces of different things, but I'll talk about that in a minute and tell you how you can get everything. So this is going to be just a little bit of a fold over this piece here, and you can use the inside. I'm not sure how we're going to decorate the inside yet, but I'm going to make a little closure for this. So what I've decided to do, there's many different ways you can do this kind of a closure, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this tab on part of on this left hand side, and I'm going to just put a Velcro dot on this side. So I'll just show you how I'm going to do that. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this upper part. Oops. Kind of line that up in the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm also going to just ink up the back of this ticket, because that will show when we open it up here. So there's our ticket. And then I'm just going to glue this beautiful fussy cut here just to add a little bit extra to that. I printed my Cricut calibration on the back of here. That paper has 2 sides, so we can use the other side for something else. So there we go. I think that is beautiful. And then I'm just going to use one of these flat Velcro dots. I like to put a little dot of glue on there. It's probably not strictly necessary, but... And then I put the other side of the Velcro dot onto here so that it's going to match up perfectly. Add a little dab of glue as well, and then I'm going to flip this closed and then just let that dry. And when the glue is dry, I can split the Velcro open. So there's that piece done. And then on the other side here, we had started working on these little just little journaling flippy things. We're going to put something inside of there afterwards. But I'm going to put them on as little pockets on this side. So I'm just going to line them up here, and I'm going to probably squish them to this side, and I'm going to glue on these 3 sides and leave this part open for a pocket. So I think I'm just going to use my skinny glue here for that. So again, I'm just going to do 3 sides. And 3 sides on this one as well. Use my brayer just to make sure that's all stuck down nicely there. And then the other thing we started last time was this closure. So I'm just going to take a little piece of string. This is just some baker's twine, some pink and white baker's twine. And then just around either the bottom or the top, doesn't really matter. Get it in between there. And tie that into a knot. I'm just going to wind that around this top part and around the bottom, and maybe once more up here, and snip that off. So there's our closure done. So the next thing I want to do is make a little pocket like this one here. Just kind of a fold over pocket, so there'll be a pocket in the back here. There's a pocket in the front here, this tuck, and then we can add another pocket at the bottom if we want. So that is going to live here. And I printed another piece of paper just on one side that I think will coordinate beautifully with that. So what I've done is I've made a little template, and I'm going to make it a slightly different than this, but I just I can't remember how I made the original pocket, so I just took a piece of scrap paper and started folding until it looked like what I wanted, and that's what I have here. So what I'm going to do is take the measurement of this from side to side. So that is 4 inches. And I want the pocket a little bit narrower because I have this pretty paper here and I don't want to cover the whole thing up. So I think I'll do maybe 3 3/4. So the math will be a little bit more complicated, but we'll figure that out. Actually, should I do it even 3 1/2? That will make the math easier. 3 1/2. Yep, I think that's what I'll do. I'll do it 3 1/2. So what I'm going to do, I could cut off the strip of the bottom first or later. I think I'll cut it off first, and then it won't be all folded if I want to use it for something else. So let me see how long I want my pocket. Maybe 6 inches, 5 1/2 inches, maybe 5 1/2 inches. Let's do 5 1/2 inches. So I'm going to just cut off of this side 5 1/2 inches. And I'm just going to reserve this for another purpose. And then I'm just going to fold this in half. Just give it a tiny pinch at the corner there where it folds, and I'm going to ink that little bit there so that it's easy for us to see where our center is. And then, because I want my pocket to be 3 1/2 inches wide, I need to divide that by 2, and that will give me 1 3/4. So this is my center, and I want 1 3/4 on either side. So 1 3/4, so that's 5 1/2, 4 1/2, and it'll be 3 3/4. So that is 1 3/4 that way. And then I want 1 3/4 this way, so from 5 1/2, 6 1/2, and 7 1/4. So if you're doing it exactly like mine, you put it in here and you will score at 3 3/4 and 7 1/4. Just like that. And this pocket is actually going to be, I think, the paper's going to be too wide. We're going to have to trim something off the paper too. So I could have done that ahead of time too, because these folds are going to come too far. So let me just trim that off a little bit. Let me see. I think really about just 1/2 inch or so is good. Off both sides. So what I'm going to do is just ink this a little bit so you can see. I'm just going to take this corner and I'm going to fold it so that it's not maybe quite on that line, just a fraction shy of that line. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just inking these things so you can see them. I'm just going to turn it around so I can fold it a little bit better, just so it's close to the line but not quite on the line, so you have a little bit of, it's not going to bind when you fold it over. And then we'll just fold over this like that. Left over right, right over left, it doesn't really matter. You can do it whichever way you want. And there is our pocket. So that will live there. So what I'm going to do, I could either ink this part here or I could cover it. And I think this time I'm just going to cover it. So I'm just going to put a little dot at the bottom here. This is where I have to go below to cover it. I'm just going to open that again. And I'm just going to see, do I want it to be the same color? I have this rest of the strip left over. I think I'm going to use something different. So you can just kind of play and see what you like. I kind of actually like that. I think I'll use that one. So I'm just going to glue a little bit up here, right at the very top. And I'm going to put my piece of paper here, just line that up on one of those corners there, butt it up to the top. You can go a little over if you want, and then you can trim it off later. And then I'm just going to fold this side back, and then I'll just trim off this edge. You could measure it too, but this is just a little bit easier, I think, to do. And just make sure nothing is binding there on either side. It did seem like it wanted to bind a little bit there, didn't it? So let's just, it might just be because of this part here. Just let me take a little sliver off there. And then I want to cut it just across there. And let's see how that fits. Perfect. Now it's not binding at all. So then I'm just going to glue the rest of this piece down. I like letting you guys know how the process is instead of just the measurements, because then you can adapt this to any project that you want to do. Any size, any width, any height. So I'm just going to ink a little bit on the top there, and then I'm going to ink on these folded edges there, and this folded edge here. And then that will go like that. And then you can decide if you want left over right or right over left. It really doesn't matter. I think I'll do it that way. So then I want to ink a little bit there. Might as well just finish it off here. Okay, and then we can cut these flaps off. We can glue the whole thing on if we want. I think I'm just going to cut about 1/4 of an inch away from that fold like that, and I'll just glue that part down. There's less bulk that way, and then I could probably even use that for a tab or something if I want. That's one side, to the other side. Like that. And then I decided I wanted it this way. I'm just going to put a little bit of the glue on the right hand side at the bottom and fold it over. I don't need to put glue there. And then I don't think I want glue there. And I'll just put it at the bottom here on the second side and this part. Because then it will give me 2 pockets. So then I will have a pocket. These postcards fit in here? Nope, if I would have made it the original size, it would have fit in there. But so I've got a pocket here, I've got a pocket at the back, and then we can also put another pocket at the bottom if we want. So I don't know, I really do like a little bit of that showing as well. And then I could do a little bit of just a fussy cut at the bottom or something. So I think I'll glue it about 1 inch up from the top, and then I'm going to glue the entire pocket on. We could leave this open to have another tuck, but we've already got 1, 2, and maybe another one at the bottom, so I'm just going to glue the whole thing on. Just like that. A little bit up. I love how this is coming together. I hope you guys are following along and making your own. I hope you're picking up all the free pages and the kit from Etsy, the main kit with all of the bits and pieces. So while this is drying here for a minute, I just want to talk again quickly. You've probably heard it already. So there's 52 pages of freebies. They're going to be on each of the design team members' YouTube channels. The description below will explain all of that. And there's also a ephemera kit that has postcards and labels and tucks and stamps and tickets and library cards and fussy cuts, and there's 39 pages. Tea cards, beautiful labels, 39 pages, and it's a very reasonable price even without a sale, and there is a sale going on until February 29th, so really do pick that up. And all of the design team members and anything that's linked to this kit will have the hashtag allthingsroses, so you can search for that, and that should bring up the channels and the freebies and the kits and everything else that you need. So there we go. All right, so now I'm going to work on the very back cover. And on my original here, I have a vertical pocket, and then on top I have another pocket here. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. So the first thing I want to do is cut a strip. This one is the lightweight cardstock, and it measures 3 inches wide by 8 1/4 inches tall, so as tall as your journal and 3 inches wide. So I'm just going to glue that on 3 sides here. So instead of making the pocket exactly like my first one, where I used a junk mail envelope to make this pocket, and I have done this before in a video, so I'll link that down below if you want to check out how to make this specific pocket. But Michelle has a couple of pockets already made in her kit, and I think these ones would work really well on this project, so I'm going to use those instead. Or one of them anyways, I'm not sure, we'll see how 2 works. This one is kind of the peachy coral color, and this is more of a pinky color. So I think they'll both look good on the back here. This is probably a little bit more of the pink tone right there, and actually this is probably more of the coral tone. So I'm going to make them both up, and then I'll see what I want to do. So the pocket just comes like this on your page, and you just cut it out. And then I'm going to, there is a faint line on here, and it's hard to see on mine because, like I've been telling you, I have this vertical banding that I have fixed on my printer, but unfortunately I had printed out quite a bit before I noticed it, so I'm just going to go with that. So you just want to score on that line. If you can't see it, it looks like it would be 3 1/8 that you would score on. It would be right where this little fold is there. Then I'm going to turn it this way, and I want to just fold along this tab. So I can fold that tab up. So just between here and here. So that can fold up. And then I've also got a tab on this side. This is a little wider tab on this side. So you just want to score on that one as well. And there's a faint line for that as well. So basically what you have is you have this with the 2 tabs folded in, and then this completes the pocket like that. So then you have a complete pocket. If you're a little bit wonky like mine is, you can just adjust a little bit. All right, might as well just do this one as well while I've got everything out here. So because that white is showing at the back there, I would like to hide that. I could use another piece of paper, which would look nice. I think I actually may do that. That even looks nice. It's a little bit busier, but I think these patterns just seem to be able to handle that. So I want to cut a piece that is about, I might as well do it 1 inch. This actually is the perfect width. So I'm going to just cut 2 pieces of this paper that are 1 inch wide, I guess. So this one, I'll do 1 for each pocket. And then I'm just going to glue the piece right here. That looks good. Use your scraps, you know, as you're working, you can use your scraps, whatever you've got, for these little parts of the project. And in this kit, all the papers just coordinate well together. even, you know, it looks like this is kind of a busy print and a busy print. It works. I notice here that this flap is a little bit higher than this divot here, so I'm just gonna give a little bit of a slant to that side, and then you can't see it anymore. That's perfect. And then I'm just going to ink this part because I won't be able to do it when it's closed. And then I'm going to glue my two flaps and close up my pocket. Then I'm just going to quickly ink around all of my edges here. So here's my two pockets. I decided for now at least just to put one on here. I could change my mind later, but so this is going to be a little bit bigger than my belly, not my belly band, but my vertical pocket, which is actually how I had this one, which I like, hanging out a little bit, just sort of hiding what's underneath. So you can kind of move it out even a little bit more, or I think I'll just leave it, you know, kind of centered this way, so it'll be hanging out about 3/8 of an inch probably. So I'm just going to glue that on. So this is the side I don't want to glue. Again, you could just glue it on 3 sides if you want and have another tuck underneath. I'm going to have plenty of pockets in this folio, so I'm not going to worry about making too many extra ones, although you could. So there is my pocket that I'm squishing glue out of. There we go. I'll just make sure that that is not attached underneath, and it's not. Don't think. No, it's good. So there's our pocket. And I decided just to decorate this pocket a little bit. I'm going to do more of the decorating later, but sometimes I just see something and I decide I want to stick it on there, and I want to put it on before I kind of forget. So I'm just going to put a smidge of torn book page at the bottom here, just to kind of give it a little bit of contrast, because this pocket is quite busy already, and then we're putting busy stuff on top. And I just made a little tiny collage with 3 pieces of collages really work well with odd numbers, and 3 is just a perfect number. So I took one of the larger pink tickets and large yellow label and one of the fussy cuts, and I actually just put 2 little staples in there to hold the collage together, and then I'm just going to glue that on the top there. So just glue that on. This is the stapler that I've been using. I have a tiny attacher from Tim Holtz Ranger as well, but I found this at Michael's one time, and it was just a couple of dollars. The staples are really cheap, and it works really well. So yeah, I am very impressed with that stapler, so I use that quite a bit. And it's kind of a smaller than a regular staple, but not quite as small as the tiny attacher. So there we go. And then I'm not sure, but there's this library card, and I think perhaps these pockets were meant for these library cards. It does fit perfectly in there, so I'll just stick that in there for now. I'll put this one aside. We'll probably use that later. And then this, I can either make some sort of a collage. I can put one of these beautiful label sort of things there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet, so I'll just leave that leave that for now. I did also put a couple of sentiments. I just put one that says loved there, and oh, I know where I put it. I put it on the top of this this kind of letter envelope sort of thing that we made last time. So this goes around the belly band like that, and we put the Velcro on last time. And then I just made another little collage here. This one has 3 pieces, including the large label and the fussy cut and the little sentiment there. So there is that. So I'm liking how that looks so far. So I think we've done kind of the basic structure, not the journal yet. And we did this, we did this. And we did this. We may add another little pocket there. And we've got all of those pockets and everything. Yeah, so we've got the structure of the folio done. So we will do more on the cover.